Skadoosh ASMR Heavy. Hello there, it's me, your best bud with the ASMR goods. We're back with another quiz, picture, video game thing, imajiggy, you know what I'm saying? So where you get the 30, I'll draw you out the clue, I draw it out, and you got 30 seconds to figure it out. Can you guess it? If you need more time, remember though, you can always pause it, have a little bit longer to consider before I move on and tell you what the clue meant and describe what it was getting at. What was the clue getting at? I'll describe it for you in some detail, maybe none, maybe a lot, maybe none, I don't know. We'll see how it plays out as ever. But if you've got any ideas for videos, all you gotta do is let me know. And before we begin, I'd like to say, hopefully you are well, and this video finds you well, and hopefully this video is decent for you. And if not, there's always the next one. You could tell me what you want me to do for it. All you've got to do is let me know in the comment section below, and I'll give it a consideration and maybe do it. Other than that, without further ado, I bring to you another little picture-based quiz. So let's get quizzical. Sit back, relax. It's about to begin. Also, so here we are. If you're still not sure exactly what's going on, you'll get it from this first one, okay? So, we need this for context. So, that is your clue, and your time begins now. Like I say, if you're still not sure what's going on, you'll definitely grasp the concept after I explain the answer. But this is your clue. You've just got to figure out what the answer is, and you've got 30 seconds. 30 seconds as the sands ebb away. Time ticks as you try and pick an answer for this clue. And as the time has gone, as I say, with all of these, if you need more time, all you've got to do is pause the video. All you've got to do is hit that little pause, pause it. Okay, so this one, here is the explanation and the answer. So obviously we've got what and what, which means there's two what. There's two what? Two what's. So what's is the first box, there's two of them, what's, and this is for context. And where is the position of the what in relation to this? Let's think of it maybe as a room or just any placement. It is towards the top of it, which was also a way you could say up. If it was towards the top of the roof, you'll be up in the air. So the answer is what's up. There's two what. There's two what, so what's, there's two what's, two what, which makes what's, and they are up, so what's up is the answer. So if you got what's up, you would have got that one correct. Well done. Oh no, we've got a bit of bleed, hopefully it doesn't impact too much. Here's the second one, okay? As we get a notification. Anyway, here we go. Here is your clue and here is your time. Like I say, as ever, if you need a little more time, that's extremely fine. Just make sure to pause it before I get into the explanation. As the time ticks away, and there is your time. So here we go. This one. Okay, so there's a few details in this one to take into account. So we've got two hands. And they're positioned either side of this, and it's pointing at this one. So it's inferring that it's the right hand, the right side, this right hand side, this right hand is a big clue. So right hand. So if you, that's the first part. But what is the right hand? What is the right hand of? Which means you need to know what this symbol is, which is man. It's the man symbol. Women's this one, right? Something like that. The woman one is something like that. The one for women, but I forget. But yeah, this one's the man one. So that's man. So you've got two hands pointing at the right one. So it's right. Then we just simply put the letter the word hand in. And then, as these notifications, I'll turn that off so it doesn't do it. And then, like I say, the last clue is man. So man. So right hand man. Right hand man. So if you got right hand man, you would have got it correct. Well done. Okay, I'm going to draw you a little one of these once again, just to give you a bit more, just to put a bit of emphasis on what we have, okay? Okay, so there's your clue, and here's your time. Good luck, good luck. I always forget to say it, but good luck. Tick, 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 goes away your time. And as it goes away, it's time for the answer. Sometimes it's more simple than you think. Sometimes things are red herrings, I would say, for these things. And sometimes you just got to say what you see. So, although there is 5 of them, the quantity means nothing. There could have been 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, doesn't really matter. The important thing is, it's the word over. And, like I say, that's why I drew this little box. If you think about where they are positional-wise, they are on the left. That's the first important piece of information, left. And then the next part is over, left, over. And because there's multiple, it's left overs. So they're on the left hand side, so left. And it's over. And because there's multiple overs. In the clue, it had 4, but that got me stuck on it. And also, I think leftovers, 5 makes more sense because S is like a 5. So anyway, leftovers is the answer. Leftovers. So if you got left and then overs, you would have got this one. Leftovers. Correct. Well done. Okay, so here's the next one. My brain's not braining. So, there's your clue, and here is your time. Go. Good luck. There goes your time. Like I say, if you ever need more time, pause it. Okay, so here we go. So the first information that we need to take into account is this 1. So the first part is literally just 1. Okay, 1. So 1. Then we've got the road, the road, the road, the road, the road. How many times is it there? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 4. See, sometimes you gotta like bend words a little. 1, 4, and then you just whack in the road. So it's 1, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 to make 4. So 1, 4, 1, 4, and then it's the road, the road. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, the road. 1 for the road, 1 for the road. So if you got 1 for the road from our little clue, well done, you got it correct. 1 for the road. This one is going to be a bit more difficult for me personally, but we'll see, Okay. This symbol I'm butchering a bit, but hopefully you'll grasp what I'm trying to put. As a clue, just in case it is too bad of a interpretation of the symbol, it's a mathematical symbol. Okay, so there's your time. Okay, apologies if the symbols are not very good, but hopefully they're okay enough that at least one of them is correct looking enough. It's supposed to look like this, I think. That's the actual symbol, but I'm pretty sure that's the way it's supposed to look, like that officially. But like I say, if you need a bit more time to think about it, here's your time to pause it. So here's the explanation. This symbol here is pi. 3.14 whatever. The mathematical symbol for pi. And there's loads of it, pi, and it's in the word sky. So pi in the sky. It's just literally pi. And it's in the word sky. Like I say, I butchered it a bit, but it's just pi in the sky. Pi in the sky. Pi in the sky. Pie in the sky. Pie in the sky. If you got a pie in the sky, you got this one correct, so well done. Okay, here's the next one. There we go, there's your clue, and here is your time. Good luck. And there goes the remainder of this one. Hopefully this one's an easy one, to be fair. So it's literally just how many, it's rock. But the important one is the one it's pointing at. And that one is at the bottom of these stack of rocks. So the answer is literally just, rock. Because rock is here. Rock. So rock, and it's the one that it's pointing at. The one that's inferring. That's the one at the bottom. Rock bottom. I don't think it's referring to the actual move, rock bottom, but but more the place in your life sometimes when you feel like you're at your lowest of the low. But it might be referring to rock bottom, I'm not sure. But yeah, it's just, what about this one at the bottom here? Rock bottom, rock bottom. Ah, that was close, that was close. If you did get rock bottom, then you got it correct, so well done. Okay, this one's quite good. This one's quite good. Here we go. Okay, so there's your clue, and here's your time. Good luck. And there's your time, ticked away. Okay, so there's quite a lot of important information in this one. Probably the first part is just what it's pointing at, and that's Michael, so we'll put Michael. And to be fair, I think this one had just jumped to you as soon as you figured out the rest of it, but so that's the first part, Michael. The next part is it's a family tree. So mum, dad, that's Jack's mum and dad, and then Jack has got 2 kids by the look of it, Zoe and Michael. So what you've got to think about is the relationship. So if this is Michael, that means Michael is Jack's son based on the relationships, and that's literally the rest of the answer. Jack, son, Michael Jackson. It's quite clever. I quite like this one, it's quite clever. So Michael, and then you got to think about it in the relationship with the family tree, and then that's Jack. So Michael is Jack's son, Michael Jackson. So if you got Michael Jackson, then you're doing it correct. Well done. Okay, this is the next one. It really takes a bit of I don't know even if it's lateral thinking, to be fair, but it takes a bit of thinking to this one. That's all you've got. It's all you've got. So good luck. There's your time. Okay, so let me butcher this one for you. Here we go. So obviously it's is, the word is, and there's 2 of them, which another word for 2, it can be pair. So if you take pair and is, pair is, that's kind of where it's going with this one. To get to Paris. To get to pair, so it's a pair of is. There's 2 of these, is. So yeah, pair is Paris. Get rid of the I, Paris. Like I say, it's a bit of one you have to really put some thinking into. But if you got Paris from that, congrats, that's a good job. Good job, Paris. Here's the next one. There you go. Here's your clue, and here is your time. Good luck. there's your time. Like I say, ever need a bit more? Pause it, hit the pause. Hit that little pause. Okay, so this one, we'll get into it. The way that I wrote it down was to throw you off a little, but you've got to look at this one this way. This part that way, and this part this way. That's doing a lot of the heavy lifting for this one. So this word here is what. W-H-A-T. So what, and it's going up. So what goes up. The what goes up. So that's the first part. What going up. The what goes up. And then if you know the saying with where it's got must in it, must come down. What goes up must come down. That's the thing with some of these. You kind of have to know the saying to maybe fill in the blank of what it is getting at, kind of thing. Because what goes up and must goes down would technically be how you'd look at that if you didn't know the saying, but it's must come down. So yeah, if you got from that the what going up, what goes up, must come down. So the what goes up, and the must come down. What goes up must come down. If you got what goes up must come down, then you got it right, correct. Good job. Okay, so here's the next one. I feel like you could get it without any time on this one, to be fair, but here you go, here's your time, just in case. But yeah, I do feel like this one jumps off the page as an answer. But we'll give the 30 seconds nonetheless. And there's your time. So, bad wolf, but the bad is big. The bad is really big. So the answer is big, bad. Wolf, big bad wolf. Because the bad is big, and then we've got big bad. So we've got big bad, and then wolf, big bad wolf. Nice, easy one, hopefully for you. And if you got it correct, which hopefully you did, well done. As we hit the halfway point, we'll move on to the next one. After that. Hopefully this one's also quite a bit more simple. Here we go. So there's your clue. Hopefully my drawing is decent enough for it. There you go. Good luck. There you go, there's your time. Here we go. So the first part that's important is record. So we'll fill that in. Record. record, and as I've tried to demonstrate, it's got a lot of cracks and breaks in it, and it's been smashed up. That's what this drawing is supposed to indicate to you as the guesser of this. So based on that, it's quite simple then, and that's it. Literally is just broken. Don't know why I do that sometimes. Change the thing partway through. Broken because of all the cracks and stuff. And record, so broken record, because this record has been broken. Broken record is the answer. If you got broken record, you got it correct. Congratulations and well done. Okay, here's the next one. There's your clue, and here's the time. Go. Good luck. Hopefully this one's another easy-ish one. Hopefully it's another easy-ish one. Okay, there's your time. 30 seconds. Sublime. Okay, so the first important part is Vaders, is actually just the word that we're looking at. But there is a space in it. A space in the Vaders. There's a space in Vaders. Space in Vaders. So the answer is literally just space here in Vaders, space invaders, space invaders. So if you got space invaders from that clue, if you got space invaders, you got it correct. So well done, well done. Here's the next one, okay? Here's the next one. There's your clue, and here is your time. Good luck. I feel like this one is kind of easy, but also maybe not. But also it's a bit of a fun one, a bit of an interesting one. It's a bit of a clever one. We've got some quite difficult, clever ones coming up, so. Here's the time is up. Okay, so here we go. So if we take this out for now, like that spells the word last. Easy, last. So if we do that first, because that's there, last. And then I use the red to show you that it's not got an E. So we'll just use the not for the red cross. Last. Oh, sorry, my apologies. But you need a but in there as well, but you'll see that in a sec. Last but not least. Not least. Like I say, I've not explained that one very well, but it makes sense now that you know it. If you didn't know it, now you know it. So you've got last but not least. Last, not least. Last, not least. Like I say, the extras are a lot of heavy lifting. No, that's it. Like I say, if some of these you just need to know that there's a saying, that there is such a saying as last but not least. And then, like I say, this one I feel like is cool because it is a saying, but I never really thought of last being inside of least, so so it kind of works like that, kind of interesting. Butchered it. But yeah, if you got that correct, if you got last but not least from that, then you got it correct. So well done. If you got last but not least, then you got it correct. Okay, so here's the next one. It's quite difficult. I did not get this one, so good luck. Is how you do that. That's the same as this, basically. You know, it's one of those. But I butchered it. Never thought I had to do one. But anyway, there's your clue. Good luck. Good luck. Supposed to look like that, kind of. Yeah, I'll quit what I'm behind. Anyway. Like I say, you might need a bit more time on this one. I didn't get it, so I didn't get this one, so you may even need more time too. But I didn't get it, so if you've already got it, unbelievable work. But there is your time. There is the time for this one. So it even took me a while to figure out what the clue actually meant for the answer. So here we go. The answer is I'll tell you the answer and then I'll tell you the explanation. That's probably the easiest way. So the answer is to cut a long story short. To cut a long story short is the answer. So if you got that, spectacular work. But if you didn't get that, and you're just like, like myself, and you're like, how does this here equate to that? How does that equate to that? So here it is. What's the important? The way to figure it out is basically you have to fill in the blank, and that's if you make it to War and Peace, which is a super long novel. So it's a long story, and it's been cut short by missing out those letters. That's the clue basically. This is not some big brain moves. I didn't get it. So if you got it, and that's your brain here, because it's big, real big, yeah, big. If you got it, if you got to cut a long story short, to cut a long story short. If you got that from that unbelievable effort, well done. I didn't get it. Here's the next one. There's your clue, and here's your time. Good luck. And there is your time. So here it is. I'm not really sure if this is actually important, this bit, but we'll fill in the blanks for you just in case you didn't get that bit. So the word is gravity. I'm not sure if those blanks really mean anything for this, but other than just to make it a touch harder. But that's the word that we're looking for, and it's pointing at the centre of it. So the answer is just literally It's literally just centre of. Oh, my stuff's just got worse as we've gone on. My brain's not braining. It's the War and Peace one. It's destroyed my brain. Anyway, centre of gravity. Like I say, I think maybe that's just to make it a bit more difficult. So you have to fill in 2 blanks as well, and it's still symmetrical, so it's still the centre in terms of it's in the middle of the word. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you've got 3 that way, 3 that way. So that's the centre of gravity. Centre of gravity. So if you got centre of gravity from that, Awesome job. Awesome job. Okay, here's the next one. There's your clue. Here's your answer. Here's your time. Here's your time. Clue. Time. You know, wink, wink. Just in case you need a bit of an extra nudge. What I just said was kind of helpful. There goes your time. And here goes this time. T-I-M-E, T-I-M-E, T-I-M-E. So yeah, the answer is time. The word, sorry, there is time. So in its turn back, this is back, time is backwards, so turn back time. If you turn back time, it becomes emit. Emit. Like I say, you got to move a bit with your brain now. Turn back time. Turn back time is the answer. So if we go E-M-I-T and turn it the other way to T-I-M-E, turn back time. Turn back time is the answer. If you got turn back time, congratulations. That's why I said, here's your clue and here's the time. That's what I was saying. It's a little bit of a bonus clue. But anyway, if you got it, awesome job. Here's the next one. Here's your clue, and here's the time. Good luck. Just an FYI as you're thinking about this one, these last four, I didn't get any of them, I don't recall. So if you get any of them, awesome job. You may need to pause on these ones, have a little bit of an extra think, as our time has come for this one. So here it is. So no and no. So it's there twice. So if you've got something there and it's the same thing, you could technically call it a double. Double. So if then you move from there and think about what no is, and that's a negative. No, negative. Say I didn't get this one, but two no's, double, and no itself is a negative, isn't it? It's not a yes, it's a negative. So double, negative is the answer. If you got double negative from there, congrats. I did not, so awesome job. Here's the next one, here's the next one. Okay, there's your clue. Here's the time. I'll give you an extra bonus clue because I did not have any clue on this one, and that's the T. The T in this does a lot of the heavy lifting. And so you might need to think of saying with T in it. That's your bonus clue. So this one's quite a hard one, so at least I thought anyway. You might have seen it instantly and thought, bam, I know the answer, in which case, awesome, so good. But once again, if you need a bit more time, as we run out of time, you can always pause it. So like I say, there's T's in this algebraic, equation. So we'll put T, but we'll put T like this, if that's helpful towards getting it, if you've still not quite got it. But yeah, that's the T part of it, and then the rest of it is just an equation suggesting that these T's become 4T. That's where I was going with this, to be fair, 40 winks or something, like, because it's got 4 T's, 4 winks, I don't know, I didn't get it, but like I say, so this is the answer, and I'm probably butchering the explanation, but it's teetotal. The answer is teetotal. You know, if you don't drink, that's what people say in it, teetotal. And the T's total to 4T. So teetotal. Although I think maybe a better one would have been 3T minus 4T equals T, and then that probably make more sense, to be honest, right? So if you take 3T's away from 4T's, you're just left with a T. So the T totals T total. The T total. I feel like that makes more sense. But either way, if you got that from this 3T plus T equals 4T, if you got T total, because that's the T total, then you would have got it correct. So well done. I guess that still works the same way, doesn't it? Because 3T add a T is 4T, so the total of T's is 4, and it's just pushing you towards the answer, which is T total. And maybe that would have been easier, but that's maybe harder. Anyway, if you got T total, we'll move on. I'm just coping because I didn't get it, so ignore me. Next one, the penultimate question. Here we go. There's your clue, and who's the time? Good luck. Like I say, I didn't get this one either, so it was too many big brain moves for me. This, so I fumbled and stumbled. But hopefully you do better. And as ever, if you do need a touch more time, you can always pause. There is the time gone. Okay, so like I say, if you need a bit more time, pause it. If not, we'll get straight into the explanation and the answer. So, there's the clues. T equals LTD, 2 equals LTD, and 3 equals MOD. Got T on the brain now, T total on the brain. And this is all super relevant, to be fair. So, 2's company, LTD, limited. LTD is limited. It's the abbreviation for limited, which is a company. You have to choose two's company, and then 3 is a mob, which you could also, if you think about it, like a flash mob, which would be a crowd of people doing a thing, or I don't know if like the actual mob, like that do like hits and like organised crime and stuff. I don't know if they're called a crowd, but if you think about it as a flash mob, that's a crowd of people doing a dance and stuff, right? So 3's a crowd. So 2 is company, 2's company, and 3 is a crowd. 3's a crowd. So 2's company, 3's a crowd. Hopefully that makes sense. Some of these harder ones, some of these more in-depth ones, like more thinking people ones, are a bit harder to explain for me. So hopefully that's okay. If you got it correct though, awesome job. If you got 2's company and 3's a crowd, I guess you got and 3's a crowd. 2's company, but actually, is it 2's company but 3's a crowd, or is it just? Actually, I'll just double check for you. Oh yeah, no, there's no and. It's just a comma. 2's company, 3's a crowd. That's it. So you got 2's company, 3's a crowd. Awesome job. Let's move into the final question. Okay, this is the final question. The final clue, rather. The final clue question. Although maybe it could be called a question. My brain is fried. I might not do any more of these because it's fried in my brain. That's your clue. And here is the time. Good luck. Tick, 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 tick. As the time dissipates. As the time disappears. Will you get this one? The final question. Will you get it? And if you do need more time, you can always pause. And there goes 30 seconds, 30 seconds. I've been threatening to knock that over all thinking, and I nearly got away with it. If it wasn't for you know, meddling kids. Anyway, here it is. So we've got a couple of bits of information. We've got law and we've got on. So law, we've got law and on. So if you can think of a saying with those in, that would be helpful. But if not, on is on the right side. Here it is, on the right hand side. On the right side. On the, oh, like I say, my brain's gone. On the right side. And then you can just fill the rest in. The law, on the right side of the law. So on is on the right side of law. So the, you get to call it the law. On the right side, on is on the right side. On the right side of the law. On the right side of the law. The law. So if you got on the right side, if you got on the right side of the law, you got it correct. Well done. Congratulations. That completes today's quiz. If you got on the right side of the law, you finished it in style. You'll have to let me know what you got out of 20. If you made it this far. Hopefully you didn't. Hopefully it was a relaxing session and you went straight out. But if you didn't and you got all the way through and you enjoyed it anyway, awesome. Let me know what you got. Let me know what you got out of 20. That would be great. That'd be great. That would be great, great, great. But yeah, that concludes our little quiz for today. Hopefully that was decent. Some of them are a bit harder for me to explain, so I apologise for that. But hopefully you still got the gist of it and it made enough sense that you could move on and not get stuck in the mind like me in your life, and that you can move on to the next. But other than that, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it was decent. Hopefully it was decent. Other than that, I would like to say, have a great day, 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 have a great day. Thanks so much for watching. Cheers, all the best, God bless. Cheers, all the best, God bless. Oh yeah, we'll hit you with one of these if you want one, if you wanted one, that's right. A fly, mate, you're welcome. Other than that, oh, that's the negative energy. Let's get rid of that. You're welcome. Got rid of it for you. Got rid of it. Other than that, thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. Cheers, the best. God bless. For real, I do appreciate it. And goodbye, my friends. Goodbye.